And now, we jump to the veggie garden for some edible color options.
So the thought of eating your flowers, it sounds a bit odd, doesn't it? But, you know, you want some? You see, he likes the dianthus. Maybe not so much. So why shouldn't we? The point is that there are so many flowers that are available to us where we can enjoy them for more than simply their beauty. And because we've kind of placed things in batches and called them herbs and called them flowering perennials or called them a shrub, doesn't mean that they're not edible. In fact, most of the reasons why plants from back when they were discovered hundreds of years ago were particularly for those reasons, for eating and sustaining us. Not only that, but there's a diversity that comes along with this. And I also think a responsibility that when we incorporate flowers into our veggie gardens or into our front gardens or wherever, that what we're doing is we are increasing biodiversity. What does that mean? It means that we are going to attract the pollinators. And without the pollinators, we don't end up with good fruit or good flowers. So they really do play a huge part in the bigger world of gardening. So what are our options when it comes to edible flowers? Because I know you might be a bit nervous about like, what to use. Well, guys, there are a couple of stalwarts that are really, really amazing. And the first one I'm going to make reference to is this over here, which is rocket, that we normally grow for its leaves, but we let it bolt. And you can see, I mean, these leaves are pretty miserable, but the flowers are delicious and sweet, and they've also got that punch. Of course, another one that you might even shudder to think are beautiful dianthus. And this is dianthus in any form. So whether you do it in seeds or as plants, pop them in amongst your flower beds, in amongst your veggies, and man, will they spruce up any gourmet meal. And this is another example of various dianthus. So all you need to look at is look at the shape, and that identifies whether it's dianthus. And if all else fails, just read the label. Of course, one of the most famous are the pansies and violas. Certainly great as additions in any garden. And then if you want to give your hand at it, you can also then try them in seed form, because a lot of these, especially like this little nasturtium, is so easy. Once you've sown them once, guys, they will just come up as little volunteers all over your garden. So from nutrition, yumminess, adding spunk to a meal, and just color, instead of buying them, why not grow your own? Well, there my edible flowers are in the garden. So have my nasturtiums been sown, and the promise is there to come. And I know that they add depth, fanciness, all those wonderful things, but most importantly, they add pops of color. And pops of color is what we all yearn for and we all want. And not only that, I think that they are absolutely delightful, that we can integrate them into our gardens. Remember, once you've planted, especially if we're going into summer, a good watering every day or even every second day with your seeds every day. Even if you need to mark the spot where you did sow them directly into the soil so that you will remember where to water them. Remember, if you're a bit nervous, you can always refer and you can always go back to seed sowing in a little tray, because that is kind of a first step to take. But guys, nasturtiums are so simple. Throw them in and watch them grow. And for me, instead of buying someone a bunch of flowers when you go and visit them, you can pick a bunch of edible flowers. Amazing. And what did it cost you? Just a bit of love.